Are we on? Are we on? Oh, okay, cool. Hi. Hi. So I am Pinkcaster Lane, or some people call me Slowcaster, Drunkcaster. There's so many caster forms I've had over this whole show. I can't keep track of them anymore. So, but I'm a lot of them.
Hello, one and all. This is Bluecaster Ishida's Azil coming at you with that FAQ that you asked about forever ago. It's our anniversary. We've been doing the show for 4 years now. I figured now would be a good time to get that done. Of course, these questions are subjective, and our answers will probably change by next month.
Especially Late's.
But let's see what we can throw together.
That's good.
Hey guys, Yellowcaster Autogunner here, and unlike everyone else, I started off as a fan of the show like you all listening.
Yeah, I'm already off to a pretty good start here. Hi everyone, I'm Dreamcaster Global Soft Perka, and I honestly still can't believe that I'm a part of this at all. It's amazing. I still don't know how it even came here.
Hello everyone, I am Saga, the Northcaster, the one who joins every now and then to provide snarky comments that everyone hates because they're real. I'm the real deal, baby. Anyway.
It's true, you are. Hey guys, Greencaster here. I haven't been on the show for a little while, but I'm here, and I'm gonna answer your questions. I'm gonna answer the questions that you guys gave in over Twitter or Facebook or whatever the hell you guys gave your questions in. So let's start.
Hi everybody, I'm Cho Raven, the quote-unquote leader. Yeah, I honestly expected we'd be doing this like ages ago.
Hey everybody, Mercury Caster Overkill here, and we're going to answer some questions from the fans. Are you okay with that? Okay, let's get going.
Hello everybody, this is Shadowcaster Ransack here. I'm one of the founding members of Radio Sentai Castranger. I have not been active for quite some time, but plan to make more frequent appearances on the show and other shows offered here at the podcast.
Hey, SavageCaster here to answer some questions for Radio Sentai Castranger. I've got a handy-dandy book here, and we're going to get some questions here.
I'm kind of surprised that this was a question that was even asked, because, I mean, it's pretty simple. Radio, because we're on the radio. Sentai, because we're a team, and Castranger is the easiest portmanteau ever of podcast and Ranger. We get the odd schmuck every now and then who makes jokes about it sounding like the word castrated, but I guess those people are not able to recognize a simple portmanteau. So, yeah. Radio, Task Force, Podcast, Ranger. It's not that hard of a concept.
It was funny and we decided to use it, but Zen comes from me. It's actually an old nickname. I've known the guys since I was about 14 years old, and my original online handle was Xenosaga because it was one of my favorite games of all time, and I've shortened it as I've gone to Xenosaga, to Zeno, to Zen, to other, and you know, I'm a toku fan. I enjoy the style. I think it's really cool, and henshin is a cool word, and I matched Zen with henshin and created Zenshin, so that's the reason why that's my nickname.
So, my name, much like Zen's, Greencasters, as you'll hear, went through a lot of different changes over the course of my internet tenure. The first nickname I ever went by was just Ishida, and honestly, in my early days of the internet, I was really into RPG Maker, and I still am, which is why we're making the Castranger RPG. And one of the characters for one of my early games, none of these ever saw the light of day, was just Ishida, because I was just, I was typing in stuff into Google Translate to get cool, funny Japanese names, and I thought that one was cool because one of the translations for Ishida was like one strike, or like the one, and it inflated my non-existent sense of self-importance. And then it changed to Zazeal later, because Za is obviously English for the, and Zeal, I just really started liking the word zeal, because, it means like passionate and like driven, and I feel like having a name like that really helped to trick myself into being motivated to do things. And I'm not sure if I've ever mentioned this on the air, but Castranger is the most consistent project I've ever maintained in my life. Nothing I've ever done I've been able to maintain this long, and I'm proud of myself, and I'm proud of everyone. Even the people who aren't as active with us anymore, I'm proud of every single one of this team, and I hope we can keep going for at least another 4 years.
So, as for those who are like very early fans of the show, who've like listened from the beginning, I used to be Lightred, and so pretty much my reasoning behind that name was I used to go by Striker as like a gamer name, like a gamer tag that I had like back in like my Counter-Strike days when I was a teenager. And one day I was just like, I kind of want a new name. Striker's too generic, and like a lot of people use it, so it's not unique. And then one day I just thought of the name Lightred and thought, it was original, but then discovered apparently it is an Estonian word for spangles, or like sparkling or something. So, like, I guess I shouldn't be too embarrassed about that, but still. And then one day I just decided, you know what? Everyone knows me as Lane. Everyone calls me Lane. No one ever calls me Lightred directly. And I just don't really identify with that name anymore. So I just decided, hey, just Lane in all capital letters. It's nice and simple and easy to say. So, not that Lightred's hard to say either.
So when I was roughly 9 or 10, I came up with my very own Transformer character, Autorod. And when I created my YouTube channel back in 2010, I went by the name of Autobot Autorod. For a few years it stayed as Autorod, and I would name things with Auto in it, like Transformers Auto or Kamen Rider Auto. It was my word. But I think around my first year of college, which was roughly September 2015, that was when I decided to change it to Autogar. It also doesn't help either that I'm very monotone in real life.
My nickname, there were a lot of, all the colors were basically taken, and that was okay with me. I mean, I was late. I still honestly don't really feel like I deserve to be on this show, or to be called any kind of name like this, but Dreamcaster is both the fact that I was dreaming of being a part of something like this, and a horrible pun based on a magical girl show I made up, which is based around magical girls and Disney. Specifically Disney Parks and Disney Parks logic, which I didn't realize was incredibly similar to Kingdom Hearts until years later, and I was just like, well, this is either not as weird as I thought it was, or they've actually made some stuff that's just as weird as the crap I made up. And it's called Dreamcatcher Saga, so it's sort of a pun on that, Dreamcatcher, Dreamcaster. My introduction speech is a reference to Disney as well. It's a reference to Journey into Imagination with Figment, which is also one of the main bases for Dreamcatcher Saga.
So, my nickname, Saga originally came from, like, it was just a joke amongst people, really. My name is Cell. It legit is. And so, oh, ha ha, Cell Saga, burp, derp, derp. But I'm actually not a big Dragon Ball fan. You ask anyone in the group, I kind of really don't like it, honestly. But I do like the word saga. It's a tale, a long tale that just needs to be told. And it's just a cool word to me, saga. So, like, I decided to go with that. I go by other nicknames now, too, like like Canis Sky because that's the character I play's name sort of thing, but that's a whole other thing. But yeah, I just like Saga as a word. It seems to go with this sort of thing too.
So, long story short, for my nickname, Raven's something I've been going by since middle school. It was just, honestly, at first it was just something somebody started calling me as a thing, and I just kind of ran with it for a while before realizing that it was literally just an anagram of my name and last initial. I'm like, oh, so that's where they got it from. Okay. Oh, well, it's going to continue running with it. Cho Raven came about, I think, when I was making my PSN profile. Because, as you can probably imagine, the name Raven is taken on everything. So, rarely ever do I actually get to use my nickname as a username. So I was kind of like, okay, well, I've got this, like, list of 10 different frigging usernames I use for everything these days. So, let's actually just come up with something, and I just kind of tagged Cho randomly onto the beginning of it. Just super. And, just tagged that on there so that I technically, yes, this is a username that I have not seen anywhere else. It will be my own original username, and frankly, people can still call me Raven because it's just a shortened version of the username. It worked. I honestly haven't ever had a problem with getting that username anywhere I've tried.
Overkill. It's quite obvious the reason why I chose Overkill. It's literally my personality. There's nothing better than going in, yelling, screaming, and being a total douchebag for no reason. And then all of a sudden being the nice guy when someone, actually shows respect for once. But there's more to it than that, I guess. I just can't really explain it. It's just Overkill.
Ransack was my first online handle, and the one that I used when we founded Radio Sentai Castranger, so it just kind of made sense that I didn't feel like coming up with anything a little more imaginative than that at the time. My online handle has changed since then, but I figured I would stick with this one for Castranger for continuity's sake.
Well, some people call me the Space Guitar Cowboy, some people call me the Gangler of Love, and some people call me Maurice. I don't think anyone on this podcast is going to get that. Anyway.
I'm the person who got the group into the Japanese version of Power Rangers. I am the person who... I'm sorry, Ichi, but I'm the first person who walked into the group and went, hey, Kamen Rider's awesome. Not Masked Rider, but Kamen Rider sort of thing. So
I found out about the podcast Radio Sentai Castranger in May of 2014, I believe, roughly when there was only 7 episodes out. And I thought it was neat. People who I met at conventions were doing a toku podcast on the current shows. I didn't pay attention for it for a while, and then I decided to catch up on the podcast when they started doing Kamen Rider Drive. And I think I wanted it to be my goal where, if I caught up, I could be on the show. I was offered to be on once, and that was for episode 46, where they talked about the Tokuger finale. But it wasn't possible for me to be on. But in September 2015, when I moved in with the guys, I was automatically on the show, which led to my first appearance being on Silver Metal, episode 10. Fun fact, we recorded that episode the first day I moved in.
I met Ichi and Lane at a convention a really long time ago, way before I actually was on Castranger at all. And they basically said, call us up whenever, but I was too scared. And I eventually thought, I need to do something. I need to actually try to be a part of something. I want to be a part of something. So I sent Ichi a message and started watching a bunch more toku stuff than I originally did. I always have been a fan, but I'm more of I watch a lot of magical girl stuff, and they share a lot of tropes. So it was a pretty quick transition, and I Kamen Rider and Sentai, every year I was I should watch it this year, and I never did. until I started Radio Sentai Castranger. Now I watch all of the shows, and it's awesome to actually be up to date. And when I go to cons, I'm like, I know what that toy is, instead of that toy looks awesome, I want to watch that show.
I started liking tokusatsu back in my high school days, and I went to there's a mall in our city that sells a lot of Japanese bootlegs of movies, and there's a lot of bootlegs of anime. And when I first started going there, I thought about Masked Rider, and I asked someone if they had Masked Rider, and they gave me Kamen Rider Kabuto, and it really resonated with me. I really liked it. I thought it was a really cool show. The special effects were, toku bad, but they were also toku good. Like, it was the most...
We basically had the resources and the desire to have a venue to discuss toku constructively, and the means to gather weekly to just talk shop. It was just really an opportunity to be able to voice our opinions on the weekly episodes every week and sort of get a community sense of feedback to kind of bounce our thoughts off other people's thoughts and get a real sense of community going.
Bonero. It was Bonero. Gaim was 20 episodes in, and none of us thought about talking about that show until a Megazord dick punched its way out of a coffin. It was Bonero.
We were like so blown away by Bonero in episode 3 that we're just like, fuck it, let's talk about tokusatsu. And I was, of course, entirely down, because tokusatsu is something I hold very dear to my heart. It's one of my favorite things of all time. And so I was like, I could talk about tokusatsu for fucking ever. So, of course, I wanted to do a podcast. Why the hell not? It's fun.
Well, I wanted to start the podcast because everyone in the house at the lair, the Ixie Studios house, wouldn't shut the fuck up about talking about Kamen Rider. Honestly, it just became more of a necessity than it became something we wanted to do on a regular basis. And in fact, the original idea was we're going to do it every 2 weeks, and then we decided to do it every week.
And yes, full credit to Dave/Overkill for being the one to instigate the idea. Thanks, Dave. We wouldn't be where we are without you.
I joined the podcast originally just because I watched an episode of Gaim with the guys, like, before they started one, and I was just like, I can talk about this for a little. We'll see what happens. And I just got roped into it from then on. They were holding my family at gunpoint, so I really kind of had to. But no, for real, I liked it because it was fun. It was a fun thing to talk about for a while. I'm not on it so much anymore, just because, to be honest, for me, it's getting a little samey. But I'll always be on it if I feel like I actually have something to say.
Itchy walked up to me and said, "Hey, we're doing a Toku podcast. Be on it." Yeah, okay. That was basically how that happened.
Most recent series at the time, and it kind of resonated with me. It looked like really good Power Rangers, and I really wanted to get into it because I felt like there was a history behind the whole Toku thing, and I wanted to get to know it. I wanted to learn it. I wanted to understand this form of Japanese performance theory. I wanted to understand it, and I wanted to understand why the special effects were the way that they were, why the acting was the way that it was, and why the stories were the way that it was. And I don't partake in it quite as much as everyone else, but I respect it, I like it, and that was the reason why I get into it.
Chris told me to join the podcast. No, literally, just I sometimes do filming myself and stuff like that, and I saw Chris was doing it, and I was like, "Hey, I'm a whore for camera. Let me on your show." And then I got there, and it's literally just podcast radio. Anyway, it's been fun. I like derailing everything. That's my job, is to derail things. I don't know how things go normally. Mostly, probably Chris gets to finish sentences, but I like derailing the podcast.
My favorite color is actually orange. Orange was already taken. And I wasn't sure what color Dreamcaster I was going to end up as until later, and it became this sort of like almost pastel pinky purple, which I think fits. I like it.
So, full disclosure, my favorite color is orange. You can tell that doesn't actually match my caster color. Why is that the case when I was one of the original cast? Well, I'm probably the only member of the cast who didn't get to choose. Long story short, we needed a Red Ranger. I was technically the head of Ixie Studios at that point, even though Itchy's the showrunner. But Itchy's favorite color is blue, and he wanted to be the Blue Ranger, so hey, guess who ended up Red Ranger? Don't mind too much, red ain't far off, but hey.
Do I really need to answer this question? Yes, blue is my favorite color, and that's why I picked it when we started the podcast.
I do like Green Rangers. I really do. They've been sort of put forward as the intelligent ranger, or just the ranger that has information that everyone else doesn't. Like a Green Magi Ranger. Like, he's different from everyone else in the group in the fact that he's more upbeat. Like, he's got a sort of wisdom that everyone else doesn't have. I feel like Green Rangers have that. Like, they are the offbeat ranger, and that sort of appeals to me. So, yeah, Green Rangers really do appeal to me, and that is my caster color, so that's great.
Pink, but I've also kind of been diving into gray a lot too, just because I like how plain and simple, like a shade or color, whatever the fuck you call it, is. But I do like pink a lot. It's, it's bright, happy, just like I am usually all the time. And does it match my caster color? Of course it does, because the joke was funny. Like, before I even really started liking the color pink, everyone was like, well, we need a Pink Ranger, and I just kind of volunteered myself going, I'll be the Pink Ranger. It'll be funny having, like, a pink, male Pink Ranger. And honestly, in Sentai, I do want an actual, like, legit male Pink Ranger, because that'd be fucking awesome. So, know you're listening, Toei. Do it!
I think I made it my goal when I was going to be on the show. I decided to be Yellow Caster, since there was no yellow member of the team yet. You can actually hear Lane mention it in episode 52 of Radio Sentai Castranger, a good few months before I was on. But truth be told, yellow wasn't my favorite color. It was actually neon green. But since being on Castranger and getting fan art, I actually have an appreciation for the color yellow. It stands out from the others, kind of like how I am in real life.
I like ranger-like allies as well, like people who aren't rangers but have ranger-like powers and join in and help out, sort of thing. I like that. Because I like to sort of like look into the powers and how they work and things like that, and sometimes the ranger-like allies have different types of powers that work in completely different ways, but they thematically work in a similar way to the ranger powers, and I like to make that comparison. So, yeah, I like ranger-like allies and Green Rangers. I mean, Dragon Ranger / Tommy Green Ranger from Mighty Morphin is my favorite ranger of all time in terms of design and character personality, so, yeah. Green Rangers are something that I really, really like, but I also like Ranger-like allies. So, yeah, that's my... yeah.
My favorite color is actually... I have, like, 3 favorite colors, honestly. Gray, blue, and, well, black's not a color, but whatever. I'm not gonna be that pedantic fuck. But no, yeah, my favorite colors are, like, blue and gray kinda matches my caster color. Like, mine doesn't really have a color. It's more of like a white-gray sort of thing. It's supposed to look... I mean, I always sort of envision it as, like, what does a winter sky look like? You know what I mean? That sort of deal. It sounds like a very Bob Rossi thing. We're going to paint a nice winter sky. And you're not going to tell anyone about that winter sky. If you tell anyone, I will find you and I will cut you. But yeah, that's... yeah. And I also just like blue. So I'm planning on superseding Ichi at some point. So, you know, we'll see how that works out. Don't tell him though.
But is green your favorite color? Is the first part of that question. What is your personal favorite color? Was the first part of that.
Well, that's actually purple. Wait, well, purple is a. I like earth tones. If that is an answer for your question, I like earth tones. I like greens. I like browns. I like beiges and things like that. But purple is a color that has always like weighed a lot with me. So like purple rangers are a thing that I like Woolzard. In terms of Kamen Rider, I like Putotera and things like that. But like earth tone rangers have always been rangers that resonate with me a lot. So yeah, there you go. What?
The question was, what was your favorite color? You go on to this whole thing.
No, my response
Put
is,
that in!
Yes.
No, my response is Purple Rangers have a special place in my heart.
But
But
that
I like,
wasn't the question.
The color was, what is your favorite color?
I don't-
And is it the same as your caster color?
I don't have a favorite color.
Okay, that's fine.
Fine, Paul.
I don't
It was
have
just
a
a fun- it
favorite
was just
color.
fun.
Okay,
It was just
no,
fun.
you know what? This is good. This is good. Okay, next question.
I have a color spectrum that I like. That's about,
You have a
First Toku.
spectrum, all right.
Excellent.
So did he come or not?
First
Just
Toku.
some things you don't ask.
Green. Does it match my caster color? Yes. Also, no. I've gone through a few colors of my caster colors now. Started with green, then I was hospitalized for about 4 weeks, and my color was, I was stripped of my color, as I call it. And then after that, it was silver, and that was only because it was the only color I could think of that I liked. And now it's, I don't even have a color. It's Mercury. I guess Mercury is still a little bit silvery, but yeah.
My favorite color is green. If you ask me, black is a shade. I don't count that as a color, even though it's obviously not my favorite color. And purple is my second favorite color.
I used to do a character called the Savage Bandito. Well, I still technically do it. And he was orange, so they made me Orange Caster. Though my favorite color is, in fact, red. This thing is red. There we go. I'm prepared. And, but they made me Orange Caster, so I'm known for being orange. Which, ironically, the Savage Bandito mask, which I'm going to make Chris cut to, looks very similar to a certain other character. So I guess I kind of got lumped into that orange guy thing.
Kamen Rider Kabuto. There you go. Succinct and basic answer. Kamen Rider Kabuto. It, at the time, had the best special effects, and it was also the first toku that I watched. So, boom. There you go.
Well, probably for a lot of us, especially like the core of us mostly, was Kabuto, because Kamen Rider Kabuto, because that's the one Greencaster showed us, and he's like, oh, it's cool, they're bug-themed superheroes, and they go super fast, and so I thought, try it out and watch it, and it was amazing. So that was like my first introduction to Kamen Rider as a whole and stuff. So, and haven't stopped since.
Technically Kabuto, like a lot of the others, but my answer is kind of twofold, because in the same weekend I started watching Kabuto, Kiva had also started airing. So this was 2008. So I started watching Kabuto the actual week that Kiva had started airing and had started getting subs. So I kind of started both shows in the same weekend. I batched all of Kabuto in one weekend and also watched the first episode of Kiva. So my answer is Kabuto and Kiva, kind of. Of course, not including, obviously, Power Rangers.
Well, to state the obvious, Power Rangers Wild Force, Ninja Storm, and Lightspeed Rescue were my first tokusatsu series. It wasn't really until 2011 where I thought of watching Power Rangers again, and in 2012, while watching the History of Power Rangers Ninja Storm recap, I found out about Kaizo Sentai Gokaiger. So Sentai-wise, Gokaiger was my first Super Sentai series, and Kamen Rider Decade was my first Kamen Rider series. And I didn't get into Kamen Rider till 2013, but that's a whole other story for another day.
I'm not going to count like kaiju stuff because that's sort of its own thing, even though it's technically also toku. It's sort of weird. The first time I got really I was interested in watching a show was when I was looking for videos online and found a video of all the transformations from Kamen Rider Kiva, and I really enjoyed those, especially Kivat. And I remember looking up the toys on eBay and being like, those are $200. I'm not sure if I can afford to get into this. So I never watched it. And now I'm watching it finally, like, literally this year. The first show that I actually watched from the beginning to the end, though, aside from Power Rangers Wild Force, which was my favorite growing up, was Kamen Rider Ghost, actually. I know that's everyone's gonna cringe. That might be one of the reasons I like it, is because I had no actual point of comparison, and watching it, everything just seemed new and amazing. But I also just like the sort of feeling of it. And around the same time, I started watching Gaim. And if you've listened to the podcast, you know I've been halfway through Gaim for about 1.5 years now, because I went to school for a while, and then things got weird, and basically Gaim has been on the back burner, but I'm going to start watching it again. I know pretty much how it ends, because it's the same ending as Madoka. But Gaim is sort of in a league of its own already, and I'm only halfway done, so I haven't even seen some of the stuff that people say puts it above the rest.
My first toku, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I mean, that is a toku, right? But if we're going by what's the more correct answer, I guess, first one really was, oh shit, I forgot what it's called. The one after Tokuger. Ninja. Yeah, you can see why I forgot. Yeah, that was like the first one I really watched start to finish. But I mean, I always wanted to watch, though, like Kaku Ranger, because I really like that one. I like that, just that theme song alone, man. That's worth it for me.
I want to say Kabuto, but then I sit down and go, no, I grew up on a steady diet of Power Rangers, VR Troopers, and other stuff, so I guess that kind of counts, I guess.
The spirit of the question is, aside from Power Rangers.
I mean, I get VR Troopers, Beetleborgs. I grew up on this shit. Didn't know Masked Rider was a thing until way the fuck down the road when I had already watched Kamen Rider, though. That one escaped me.
I would say my first toku ever would be the Masked Rider show. Masked Rider. That show. But I don't know. My first ever like Japanese subtitled, full on subtitled thing was I watched an episode of Kuga on a television show at an Asian supermarket. Like they had it showing, and I was like, "What was that?" And they never answered.
Much like the majority of the people here at Castranger and our affiliates, I started off with Kamen Rider Kabuto. My story is no more interesting than anyone else's. I stumbled upon something, asked one of the guys, "What is this?" And naturally, thanks to a chain of effects, I was pointed in the direction of Kabuto, again, much like most people out of our group.
First toku would be Double, because I didn't know shit about toku. I just thought it was all Power Rangers. And I went over to Chris's house, one of the first times I went to hang out with him, and basically they were playing, I think, Batch Ride War, and I was like, "Hey, is this Power Rangers?" And they were like, "No, it's Kamen Rider." And I told them the only thing I knew about Kamen Rider was Masked Rider, the short-lived series in the 80s, and not 80s, 90s. And they were like, "Let's watch Double right now." And we watched Double right now, and I thought it was pretty shitty, to be honest. I watched like the first 4 episodes, then I got home and I was like, I might as well download a little more of that. And then it was a slippery slope. Next thing I know, I'm watching, oh, it was Forza Wizard, and then I went back and I watched, like, Agato, Kuga, Blade, Deno, Decade, and then continued on with Drive, or Gaim, Drive, Ghost, X8, and now Build. I don't know why I felt the need to name all those. Anyway, I also got into Sentai, but I watched Tokuger to spite somebody. There was somebody who was like, Tokuger was so shitty, so I started watching it just out of spite. And I'm watching to the end, and it was pretty good. It got, it's a good primer for a creative Sentai series. So pretty much anything else you watch, it's better. Sorry, Victoria. My girlfriend loves that show. Anyway.
See, now, my tastes kind of throw around a lot, but I've managed to distill my list down to at least one suit per series, so I've simplified this a lot. Since Genmu vs. Laser leaked, I can confidently say that Laser Level X is my new #1 suit, unchallenged. Number 2 would be Wizard Water Style. Wizard had nothing if not pretty suits. Third would be Duke. He'd be higher on this list, but the Genesis driver really fucking clashes. New Deno Vega form, because wow, did that pull a negative suit into the positives. And just to include a Sentai suit on this list, Blue Buster. Really looking forward to Beast Morphers.
There's so many, and like there's so many good ones, so many ones I like, but I thought of the ones that like kind of really, pop in my head. So one of them's definitely Drive Type Speed. I just love that form. The red, just even the tire, the eyes especially. I love his eyes. Kamen Rider Decade, just such an amazing looking suit. I've always loved everything about it, and that's why I'm happy to have like a renewal figure art of it, because he's so fucking gorgeous. Excel, because I always kind of have a thing for bulkier riders, so like I love just all the red on him, and just his helmet's very different from how Kamen Riders usually look, and he's amazing looking. Kamen Rider Wizard Infinity style, because God, he's a diamond, and it's shiny, and I love shiny things, and I've never seen a final form of a Kamen Rider that has like been better than Infinity for me. Infinity is just amazing. And then Forza Magnet States, because that wowed everyone, because it was just big, had giant shoulder cannons, and it was just so different from other things we've seen, and I love everything about that form. So that's it.
Truth be told, I honestly can't answer that question. I can't think of just about designs alone. Maybe down the line I'll make a video about my top 5 Kamen Riders. Same to be said about any tokusatsu franchise.
You really just not going to answer at all?
Should it be ones from shows I've finished, or should it just be ones I know about? Because if it's just ones I know about, then I'm going to have to put the final form of Wizard on here, because I freaking love it. Everything I've seen about it, like the dragon form, is awesome. So that's going to have to be on the list. Okay, that's one. 2 would be all of the level 1 forms from X-Age are tied, because I really like the concept of the level 1s. I know a lot of people thought it was silly, but I thought they were cool, and it worked well as like a Mario analog, like you get the mushroom and you become actually proportioned. It made sense. It was neat. I also really like Laser Level 2, because he's literally a bike. I mean, I know I shouldn't, because everyone hates Ghost, but I really like Mugen. I really like, I mean, again, like, am I allowed to use shows I haven't finished? Because then I'm gonna throw Shingen Sengetsu in there. And the creator VR gamer form that we had in the True Ending movie was awesome. I loved it. I loved its powers. I loved what it did. Try not to spoil myself on other final forms, but those are the ones.
Again, I'm not the biggest rider guy. If you listen to the show, you know that's true with me. But I can definitely say I like Double. I think he's really cool looking. I'm actually a big fan of Black RX, or the Masked Rider, just because I just like the bug motif on that one. But if you want 5, I guess what I'll say, I'll give you like Ranger Sentai forms that I really like. I really like the white Dino Thunder Ranger. So I don't know what it's called in Japanese. Sorry. I like how evil it looks. I'm a big fan of evil looking Rangers. That's why I also like the SPD ones a lot.
1 sec. Aberry Killer.
I was gonna say it afterwards.
It's called Aberry.
Okay. Again, I'm going more by Power Rangers, though.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I like a lot of the older Ranger forms. Like, I mean, the Gold Ranger. You know, remember Troyo Triforia? He looked badass. Green Ranger, Tommy, just because that was so cool to see that. But hands down, I mean, it's almost cliche to say this, I would say, but the white Die Ranger just is one of the coolest looking things I've ever seen. Like, the white Tiger Ranger. Just, that looks like actual armor you could wear into battle. And I love the helmet on that one, just because it's vaguely tiger-like, but not entirely. I just love that one. That would definitely be my favorite, the white one from that.
Oh, I can't say I'm terribly attached to any of the Sentai forms in particular. I mean, I guess that kind of happens when really you've just got multicolored versions of the same suit running around. I mean, the Gokaiger suits are pretty cool, but that's just it's in general. Okay, so Ultimate Kuga is definitely up there. Kiva Emperor form, 100% it's up near the top of that list. Tajadoru. Just, oof. Like that form. Yeah, Gaim Kiwami arms. No, not Kiwami. Kachidoki. God, it has been so long since I watched Gaim, I couldn't even. Yeah, Gaim Kachidoki arms. All of the above are things I have figures of. I wonder why. Okay, Agito Burning.
Blade King form. Because it's fucking perfect. It's just goddamn beautiful. Kiwami. See the reason for version 1. It is the echo of beautiful from King form. It's just for all the reasons that King form was beautiful, Kiwami is beautiful for all the opposite reasons. Third, Garo's final form. Fourth, 7-star fighting god Guyford's basic, like his form. He doesn't have really upgrades and stuff like that. It's just Guyford. And for the 5th, Magishine. Honorable mention, Woolsard, because it's just too fucking perfect for a list. Like, it transcends the rest of the stuff. Woolsard just looks way too fucking good. It's not even on my list. It is a form that is beyond my favorites. I love Woolsard. Both Woolsard and Woolsard Fire. They're both awesome.
Shit. Okay, so let's go. We got Heat Trigger. No, Heat Trigger is my favorite, so we're gonna go with that as number 1, actually. So let's go downwards. Number 1, Heat Trigger. Number 2, Gaim, Orange Arms, like his base form. Number 3, O's base form. It's pretty okay. Number 4, I'd say double extreme. And number 5, actually Build's base form, like Build Rabbit Tank, is like a pretty good one up there.
My top 5 forms for toku are in order as follows. Kamen Rider Zangetsu Melon Arms. I just really like the design. I like the user of the rider. I like that despite being fruit padlock themed, they were able to keep it very cool and samurai looking, and it didn't look too gimmicky. Number 2, Kamen Rider Paradox Perfect Knockout. He's definitely one of my top favorite riders of all time. Quite frankly, the only thing I don't like about this rider is the same thing I don't like about X8, and that is I hate the gamer driver. The only thing I really like about it is the byproduct of it, hence the riders in question. Number 3 is Kamen Rider Xeranos Vega form. I do really like Zero form if I had to analyze his 3 forms in general, but between the mantle, the shoulder cannons, just the idea that Deneb is a lot more interactive within this form as opposed to the other 2 forms. I just think he's really cool looking. I love Xeranos as a rider. He's in my top 3 riders of all time. I just figured I would line my top 3 up because it makes the most sense because I like just about everything about them. My number 4 is going to be a little bit of a stray from the beaten path, and that is Ultraman Zero. He's my all-time favorite Ultraman. Ultraman's designs aren't anything particularly fancy, but as far as me, someone who likes Ultraman, I thought his was a lot more sleek, and I liked the colors. Obviously, not that they used red and blue, more how they used the colors effectively. I like his headpiece. As you know, anyone who watches Ultraman, the main difference between any of the Ultramen is their head design. I just really like him as a character and the design. And finally, my number 5 is going to be someone that doesn't really exist, but if you use a little bit of your imagination, you can kind of fill the gaps. And that is Kamen Rider Build Phoenix Robo Hazard Form. I really love Phoenix Robo already. I think the base form design is really cool. Hazard Form definitely grew on me quite a lot. I thought it was a little contrived at first. I didn't know why we were doing this Berserk form, but the more I looked at it, the more I analyzed it, the more I was able to watch it in action. I think it's really smart and it's really cool. I just love the matte jet black in conjunction with the eyepieces for your favorite best match. I think that's a really cool concept. Finally, I'm going to give a very quick honorable mention, no real explanation as per why, other than I really like the design. And that is Kamen Rider Spectre Nobunaga Damashi.
Like base forms, super forms. I don't know. I like base forms a lot. I like Ghosts. Any of Ghost forms. I liked all of Ghost forms. I love Drive. His base form. I love Full Joker in Double was pretty nice. That's a good one. I don't know if this counts as 5. Put them in any order you want, Chris. Well, no, I'm gonna put them. Though I think I'll take Kajidoki Arms as a runner-up, and first I'm gonna have to do. That's a good call. Blade King form. Oh shit, I love Blade King form. All of the riders that get a Canon King form in that show were great.
I kind of have like a top 3 if you'll allow that. And that consists of Magiking, aka the Titan Megazord, because it's one of very few base Megazords that has wings, and it has a fucking mage hat, which it tips. Like, I'm not into the whole milady fedora wearing thing, even though I kind of had a thing with that a while back, but I still think that hat is awesome. And it's made of horns! My second favorite is the Turbo Rescue Megazord, or as it's known in Sentai, VRV Robo, or as I like to call it, Robo Verve. We are not sponsored by Verve, but I would like to be. And my third is the Super Zeo Megazord, aka O-Blocker. It's a Megazord made of shapes. It's too funny to not be loved.
Oh, Blocker, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't even know
I had to wiki it.
Usually I'm not into the mechas of Sentai too much, just because, like, a lot of them are just really, like, ugh. Like, unless it's, like, a really nice, like, symmetrical design, I'm not usually into them, so that's why I don't like... I like, kind of like this... I'm more towards the 6th Ranger mechs, because it's just, like, one mech of just something. So, like, a good example would be Bison King, like, Star Ninja's personal mech. Love just the whole cowboy thing. It's awesome. A new one that I've actually taken a real huge favor to is Deca Ranger Robo from Deca Ranger, just because he's sleek, he's very maneuverable with all of his rolling and stuff, and fucking sirens for days. Just like, he has blaring sirens everywhere on him, and it's so awesome. Tokyo, because it's just, you know, it's a colorful Megazord. I love how colorful it is, and it's different from the other ones, because it's just like, it's trains. It's a robot made of trains. You're never gonna see that shit again, probably. And then Go Bustero from Go Busters, because it's 3 mechs, or 3 Zords just chucked together, and it has bunny ears, and we're never gonna see a mech with bunny ears ever again. And I just think it's a really cool mech. So yeah.
Much like with the top 5 forms, it's hard to decide on mecha. But to name a few off, probably Sun Vulcan Robo from Sun Vulcan, Daijujin from Zoo Ranger, Gao King from Gao Ranger, Gosei Great from Gosager, and probably Deca Wing Robo from Deca Ranger. Okay, so this is actually recorded like a bit after I did my answers for the Q&A, but I honestly forgot to give a good shout out to Live Robo from Live Man for my favorite mecha. It's like, because Live Man's my favorite Sentai, and I can't believe I forgot like my favorite mecha. Am I fired?
Yes.
This one is going to be kind of hard because I'm actually not that big on the mechas in Sentai shows. I'm not too big on Zords. Especially if they're like... I like it when they're sentient. Cube animals are sort of over the Voyagers, but I like the way the Voyagers look more than the cube animals, if that makes sense. I'm looking forward to watching Go Busters because I hear that in that they have it basically exactly as I think is the coolest, which is when they like actually talk and are alive.
I'm a big fan again of the Die Ranger mecha, the Thunder Megazord for us English speakers. I think it's really cool. I'm a big fan of Chinese iconography. And that one really just looks so badass to me. The Ninja Megazord from the original series, the Kaku Ranger one, not the Shogun one, the one made of the animals. That thing is amazing looking to me. Like, just the frog and the wolf and all that. Also, this is a later one, in Geki Ranger, the Rhino Megazord. That one's cool. I like that one.
I'm honest to God, not a big fan of the Megazords in general. I'm just gonna go with the frigging Mighty Morphin Megazord. Just because that's the one I know, that's the one I've thought was cool since I was a kid. Let's just run with that one.
Titanus from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. The Brachiosaurus sword. It looks really cool, and it combines with the original Megazord from my childhood to form what I consider to be the strongest thing in Power Rangers. Like, if they had just pulled Ultrazord on everything, it would have fucking won. That's my opinion. The reason why the Dinozords got destroyed was because they didn't pull Titanus and Ultrazord.
Whatever the mecha was called from Gokaiger, I can't remember it. The Go Galleon, that one. It's Gokaiger. It's the best.
My favorite Sentai mecha of all time is Gao Muscle Striker. Very specifically Striker because I like those leg pieces as opposed to the Black Bison, the more traditional legs that they used for Gao Muscle. I thought, hands down, Wild Force or Gao Ranger, whichever one you're referring to it as, had the best Zord designs, hands down, but that had a lot to do with the idea that most of it, if not almost all of it, was done in CGI, so I feel like they were able to really flesh out designs as opposed to things that they had to physically make a suit for. But yeah, I just really like the animals that are being used. I like that it seems like more of a cohesive robot instead of just things stacked on top of each other, which seems to be my problem with most of the Sentai mech these days.
Spinodio from Kiryuger. It's a movie form that they use it in the series a couple of times. I just love it. If the Topaspino toy wasn't like $400, I would own one.
I'm sure others will echo this, but at this moment, it's gotta be Ghost. Because Jesus fucking Christ, am I tired of hearing Mugen no Kanose.
Ooh, I have two, actually, that are kind of a tie, so, guys can hate me for this. Ryuki, because just, like, you know, it's a cool concept, but just, like, the main character annoyed the fuck out of me, and, like, and then the secondary writer was an asshole, and a lot of them were assholes, like, and then just, like, it just ended shit. And then, other one, Ghost, because just, if you want to listen to our whole thing about Ghost, oh my god, like, I hated it so much I screamed into a pillow, and I don't do that usually, and Ghost made me scream into a fucking pillow. So, yeah, Ryuki and Ghost for me, just, ugh!
Kamen Rider X8. Next question.
I genuinely don't think I'm in a position to have that opinion yet. I think I need to watch, like, all of an era, maybe, and then I'll be able to say which series I liked the least. But right now, everything is sort of hovering in its own area.
It's really hard not to say Ninja, isn't it? Like, just Ninja, like, again, that was the first one I watched. Maybe that's why I'm not doing this as much, because that just put a really sour taste in my mouth, I guess you could say. Just annoying. Just annoying. Annoying. But as for, like, Power Rangers series that I don't like, I mean, I gotta be honest, people, like, as important as it is, I will always say it's important, the first season of Power Rangers is not good. It's not good, people. It's just dumb. I love it, but it's dumb. So I have to say, as an intellectual, I have to say that's probably the one I like the least.
Oof. Ooh, that's a hard one. There's been some shit. Like, my mind immediately jumps to, I want to say Tokuger, but no, at least Akira was a little bit of a redeeming factor there. Considering I can't think of much to redeem Ninja, I'm gonna go with Ninja.
Kamen Rider Black RX. Mainly because, not because I think it's the worst Rider series of all time, because I don't. I really don't. But it is the worst sequel to the best Rider series I've ever seen. it's the worst possible thing they could have done with the best possible Rider series that I've ever seen. It's just, really? Fuse it with the sun, and he gets a couple of extra forms, and he's fighting space machines. No, it's fucking stupid.
Most disliked series, Kamen Rider Ghost. It never existed, but it's still a series.
Ugh, the series I dislike the most, and this will come as no surprise to anybody, is Kamen Rider Ghost. It was just awful. Very similar to Wizard. I think the suit designs are pretty neat. I think the concept is pretty cool. The show itself is awful. Just awful. The story is dumb. Our main character is very poorly written and designed, as goes for the secondary cast of colorful characters we receive. Because you get a mixed bag of characters when you look at a series, that you're supposed to get these different character types that come and go throughout the show. And so then you get characters like Onari, who, throughout my very brief period of time watching Ghost, I kind of looked at it and just kind of, this guy's obnoxious. I can't get over this guy. He's not going to get any better, clearly. There's nothing going on here. And then they started going on, like, to the other characters, only to find, no, everyone else is just as incompetent and just as annoying as he is. So I think they did a really, really bad job with this show. There was nothing enjoyable about it, to the point where I was quite unable to finish it.
Zaycross. I made fun of it on Castranger before, but it is terrible. It was meant to be a series. It was like a pilot, but I mean, like, the lead guy's barely in it. It's pretty much fan service for this thing, and then he shows up and makes such a small impression. He doesn't even finish off the boss, if I recall. It was just such a waste of fucking space. But I would say that's the only thing I say is worse. I don't think I've not enjoyed any of the series. Like, I've enjoyed all of them.
Most disappointing ending or most disappointing endings? It's Ryuki. All four of them. The show's fun, and I enjoyed watching them fight, but all of it amounts to nothing. I'm sorry if I spoiled a show from 2003. 2002, whatever.
Ryuki, and it's like 4 shitty-ass attempts at an ending. Just, oh my god. It reset itself. They tried to go in a different direction, like an alternate ending, and then just it ended with, oh, this way, and then ended with this way, and just, it was so bad. Like, God.
For Power Rangers, probably Super Mega Force. But then again, that whole show was just garbage. For Super Sentai, it's probably a tie between Ninja and, sadly, Q Ranger. Both those shows had potential, but it didn't do much with what it had. Lastly, for Kamen Rider, I can't think of one actually. But if you asked me back in 2014, I'd probably say Kamen Rider Blade.
Doki Doki Pretty Cure. No, I'm not gonna go into that. I mean, people want me to say Ghost, but I actually thought Ghost had a nice ending. You know what? No, I can't say Q Ranger either, because Q Ranger, even though it was... Also, Q Ranger's ending was ridiculously similar to Precure Alamode's ending, which is weird because they were the same year's franchises and they ended almost exactly the same way. It's just one involved cake.
Star Trek Voyager had definitely had the most disappointing ending. I mean, there's no closure, damn it. They just say, okay, we're going home. No one talks to anyone. It's all done over a screen. What the hell? But for real, the most disappointing ending was, that's the thing. I genuinely don't get too upset at endings just because they kind of all end the same to me. Just, oh yeah, they beat him. Okay, that's nice. But I can't honestly say I have a genuinely ending that disappointed me. Just some of them are just kind of meh. But yeah, I can't say. I don't think I really have one that I would call disappointing, except for Star Trek Voyager.
So, my most disappointing ending kind of happens in one of my favorites. Kuga. If just for the fact that, like, one of the last couple... Like, literally the second last episode didn't happen. You had this big episode that they planned where Number Zero shows up, wrecks everything, beats the shit out of Kuga, and leads into this big climactic finale, and that episode never aired. And never got released on DVD. Or any of the visual things. Never been released at all in any way, shape, or form as far as I'm aware. And oh man, does that make the last episode of the series kind of jarring. It's good, you can kind of assume what's going on, but oh man, that's disappointing that we didn't actually get the second last episode where they introduced the main villain.
This is a weird one. Because when it comes to Sentai, there have been quite a few of them that I haven't watched to the end, but probably Decade. Probably Decade because it doesn't really give a satisfactory conclusion to its story. Someone has to come out of the original plot line, just beat the shit out of him, and do it to be continued. I kind of feel like the continued idea of the to be continued of decades endings are really stupid. Like, give it a satisfactory ending. Like, you keep trying to keep the Decade story going, and it just doesn't work. I just think that Decade should have ended a very, very long time ago, and he's just always the protagonist in every movie that he's in. So, I don't like it. It's stupid. And
oh, this one I can answer. Double's ending is absolute garbage. They built up to the sacrificing a character, and it was really tear-jerking. And in the next episode, surprise, he's back because of plot. That was just shitty. It was terrible. And I was literally watched it late one night. I'm like, I gotta watch the first couple episodes of O's because this ending is fucking terrible. Like, I'm glad there were good movies and good appearances after that, because that ending was trash. I don't subscribe to Philip being alive. I think it cheapens the character.
Oh man, the most disappointing ending. Most disappointing ending would be Kamen Rider O's. That ending left me with literally nothing. It was just like, oh, boring.
I mentioned this earlier on in my time with Castranger, but if you're new to the show and you're relatively new to me as a member, I'm going to have to go with Double. And the reason for that is I absolutely love Double. I think it's one of the best put together series. I think the story was fantastic. I think the characters are all great. And I think the writers look amazing. What I didn't like was that we spent the entire time, for about 2/3 of the show, focusing on the idea that the big bad, the driving force behind all of this chaos and mishaps and what have you, was the weather dopant. Dopant? We have characters like Excel, who his whole ambition was getting to avenge his family, and Shotaro and Philip were kind of coincided with that ideal that, well, he's a cause of a lot more problems than just Excel's. So we finally end up defeating Weather, and then, to me, that's when the show was done. I feel like we got everything answered and everything resolved, but of course, there's still the Sonozaki family, which we now need to use for the last third of the show to flesh out as the final collective of bosses. The point being, yes, I can understand why they did what they did and why the Sonozaki family plays such a big or important role in all of this, but I think to just place so much emphasis on weather, only to have it seem like more of a footnote in all of the end, really disappointed me. To the point where, like I said, I'd kind of caught myself up on how Double ended, but as far as actively watching the show, I stopped watching when Weather was dead, because I'd watched maybe a month after that, and I went, I don't care anymore. I'm not invested in this. The thing I came for has been resolved. But yeah, that's just really my personal gripe with it. Again, outside of that, love the show.
So we watched a compilation of the handoffs before recording this so we could all have them fresh in our heads. And I think the one that I was most taken aback by was the Goanger Shinkenger one, because they just run at each other with their swords drawn, and Shinken Red's got the fucking Rekka Daizanto drawn, and I just imagine seeing that coming at me, and I'm going, oh god! I wanted him to just crush Gohan Red into the dirt.
Definitely the one that just happened between Q Ranger and Lupin Pato, because how can you not have it be funny when it's two Red Rangers getting the pass off and then one chasing the other? I don't know if they're ever going to be able to top that, honestly.
Oh, I haven't seen very many of them. I really like the handoff from Koyuger to Tokuger, where King turns and there's a pink guy there, and he was like, hey, this isn't how this works, and then he switches, and he's like, oh, okay, go. I thought that was pretty funny. I like when they use the kind of gimmicks, like the handoff from Q Ranger to Lupin and Pato Ranger was pretty good too, because it's like, oh, there's two of you guys? What the fuck? I don't know who to hand off to. That was pretty good.
My favorite Sentai handoff has to be Q Ranger to Lupin Pat Ranger. And I know this is kind of like, people, oh, you're just kind of latching on to what's new and what's fresh. The fact of the matter is, I sat and watched a video of all of them. And every single time, the guy jumps in, gives the guy a high five, fucks off. Frigs off. Sorry if I'm swearing and not allowed to swear. Doesn't matter. But this, it's not even a handoff. There's none of that. I saw they just completely shattered the mold, and it's Lucky trying to do some sort of handoff, but instead being caught in the middle of this close-range firefight of Lupin Red and Pat Red and Ichigo, and then they just screw off. And I'm just like left sitting there going, oh, okay, that was more interesting than anything that happened in any of the other ones. I'm going to go out on a limb, and if I have to guess, and I'll see what happens here, Lane is probably going to say Kyoryuger to Tokuger, and this one specifically, because yes, Tokyo Ichigo is in both of the respective ones that would involve him, but in this one, it starts out with Tokyo Ichigo as in his pink form. So that's just kind of a little side note for Lane, that when I was watching all of them at once, and I'm just sitting there, and I saw it, and I went, God damn it, Lane.
Definitely Kyoryuger to Tokuger, because I just love that Tokyo Ichigo just comes in as Tokyo Ichigo Pink, and he just does this weird, like, hand-waving gesture, and Kyoryuger's like, Kyoryuger Red's like, what the fuck? And then he turns back into Red, and he's like, just kidding, and kind of just, like, plays around. That's how I knew that, like, us going into Tokuger, I was just like, this is going to be an interesting Sentai, and it was, and I love it, so, yay Tokuger.
The one leading into Tokuger. Just for, before I knew anything about Tokuger, before I knew how much Light pissed me off sometimes, no, just having him show up in the handoff and just, hi, I'm a Pink Ranger. What? Nope, I'm Red Ranger. Haha. That was kind of entertaining.
The one that probably sticks out to me is probably the Go Kaiger Go Buster handoff. More or less because how in the crossover they actually made a reference to it.
My favorite handoff would be the Bokenger to Geki Ranger one. I like how they both like appear in the fog at first, like you see them from either side, and then they just walk by each other, and it looks like they're just going to pass each other, then at the last second they just slap hands and I just think it's cool, simple. I like it.
My favorite Sentai handoff was Deca Ranger to Maji Ranger. It was simple, it was to the point, and I like Maji Ranger.
I don't have one. I don't watch Sentai very much. No, can't think of one on the top of my head.
Honestly, with today's internet technology and sci-fi and cyberpunk and shit like that, I think I would love to see a toku show themed around hackers and today's modern technology. I know Go Busters kind of had a like spy, secret agent, internet, digital world kind of thing going on, but I'd love to see a Kamen Rider just go ham on being hackers. I think that'd be cool.
Honestly, I'd like Drive is kind of close to it, I guess, to what it'd be, but like a police themed one. I think that'd be really cool. Like Drive, like I said again, Drive is like the closest one because yes, Drive is themed after a car, and the theme is mostly cars, but it has like it's themed around mostly cops. But I would like an actual like police themed Kamen Rider series where just like it's all cops all the time. That'd be great. You know, police, cops, police cops, police riders. I don't know. That'd be cool. I'd love that.
I was actually this was the question I was thinking about the most, trying to come up with a good answer for, and I think that my answer is cooking. Not just like Dime had fruit, and vegetables. It had things with seeds. And there are some that have had vague food undertones in them, but I would love to see like a Sentai where they're all chefs. Like basically Iron Chef, but as an actual Sentai, like where each one maybe represents a different culture's cuisine. That would be cool. I mean, I'd love to see all this silly but like weirdly badass stuff they could make out of like a cooking themed Sentai. I think it would work better as a Sentai than a Rider, just because. Yeah, like it could be like Iron Chef or Hell's Kitchen, like the kind of characters you'd find in like or Top Chef or Chopped, like that kind of characters you'd find in that, and just make them Rangers. Like that would be cool, I think. And I like food, so they could add like little things about cooking in there. They could have like things about food from all around the world, and I think it would be cool. Especially since they could always base the Zords after like cooking utensils instead of food themselves. Like you could make some pretty cool stuff out of like teppanyaki tools or a mandolin like that. They could make some pretty cool weapons out of cooking prep items, or even an oven. They could do an oven Megazord.
Food. I think it should do a food themed one. It should be Kamen Rider chefs. Or Sentai chefs, and the bad guys are food critics. I think that'd be fantastic. I'm all though for Sentai, you know what? I'm gonna put that for Kamen Rider. For Sentai, I made a joke once on the Savage Bandito show about Sentai, and I think there should be I called it Power Rangers Disco Justice, but I think there should be Super Sentai Disco Rangers. I think that'd be fantastic, and they all just dress in crazy flare pants and fight the man who wants to stop them from dancing. Wait, that was Kyuger. No, I was sticking by it. All right, where are we here?
Well, as a man who would love to be working in the film industry one day, I would honestly love to see a movie-themed Kamen Rider or Sentai series. I even came up with a concept for a film-themed Kamen Rider called Kamen Rider Scene. Note to self, make a series about toku shows you want to make.
I had to think about this. I had to think about it long, and I had to think about it hard. And there's a couple things that came to my mind. One of them is that they have already done everything. They have covered just about anything that I personally would like to see in a Sentai show, or a toku show for that matter. The one I was going to go to, which seemed like more of an obvious draw, especially within our group, was movie-themed. And while I thought it would be interesting to kind of take it from a X-Aid perspective of each rider is portrayed as a different genre. But I'm sure that's just a very clear-cut thought that's, again, going to come across from multiple members of the cast. We'll see. And then I thought, you want to know what? I've been duped before, and I'm going to learn to try and not get duped again. I'm going to go with food-themed. And my reasoning for that is I think it would be really cool to just sort of, for the sake of the form changing, to see different types of food. And I don't know what sort of base forms you would use for the riders, but even if you only had, let's say, one rider, and one of his form changes was spicy or sweet, something like that. I just think that would be really cool, where I learned that making padlocks made of fruit is not the worst idea you can have.
Interesting. Puppets. The idea of synthetic life forms. People that were created... Like, I'm not even talking about roid nudes and things like that. I mean just like... Someone made synthetic people. Like a Cyborg 009 kind of thing. Where, like, they were meant to be a team of heroes, and that's what they needed to deal with. They were literally created to be a Sentai team. Like, robots or puppets or something like that that have to pass for humans that are a Sentai team. Like a whole team of Kikaider sort of thing.
Holiday character.
Santa Sentai.
That was called Revenge of the Rise of the Guardians.
I know. But
That's what that was!
Wow!
Sentai version of Revenge of the
Jack Frost!
Jack Frost! Santa Claus! Easter Bunny!
I made a joke about this, but I think it would be funny if they did do, like, a fictional character. I made the joke, Rise of the Guardians. Because that was a Sentai, people. Then I was going to say, oh, maybe a stone-based one. That's Steven Universe. But actually, for real, I would like to see a Sentai where, like, they're based off of... This is kind of Magi Ranger, but, like cryptozoological animals. In Magi Ranger, it was, like, mythical animals, like, you know, centaurs, phoenixes. But I'd like to see one like Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, Mothman, like that sort of thing. I think that'd be cool. And like the people trying to get them are like hunters or something, like those hunters, or I don't know. I just think that'd be neat to see like a Bigfoot Ranger. I guess that's what I'm saying. I want my Bigfoot Ranger. That's all. That's all. That or more dinosaur. Just you can't go wrong with dinosaurs. Do more dinosaur. Well, they should all be about dinosaurs.
God, they've done a lot of things. God, I can't even say video games anymore because they did that. It's amazing how many things I think of, and I'm just like, they haven't done that. Nope, yeah, they did. They
told
did
you
that.
to plan this in advance.
I know. Also, I think these responses make a little more interesting shit to just toss in. Oh, it's not really a motif, but like a cool... to differentiate a little bit from all the space-themed ones they've done. I mean, I guess maybe alternate dimensions, but then I think, fuck, Ryuki. That exists.
Decade.
Yeah, oh fuck, right. See, that's how much I cared about Decade. Its very existence just didn't enter my mind.
I thought you were going to say, instead of space, let's do time. Shit, time
Right?
Ranger.
That was actually the next thing in my head. Okay, how about time? Fuck!
Well, I mean, like, Time Ranger was only just the 2 time periods. It wasn't like a show where they like, went all fucking different time periods.
Right?
So that could still be a thing.
Still, yeah, just like fighting things through time. Legends of Tomorrow style. You know what might be cool? And hear me out on this one, because it's going to sound really dumb when I just say the first thing. Superheroes. And yes, I get Sentai are already inherently kind of superheroes, but I mean, like, all of them are, like, themed after, like, different styles of like American superheroes with like, and like have civilian powers to boot because of it. Like that is about, that would be kind of cool. I like that. Let's go with that.
It hasn't been done. So I know we just got video games, but we didn't really hit on anything video gamey related. It was more doctor related near the end there. But let's see. I would love to see one based on like just like war. I know that they're never gonna do it, but that would be so cool to be like an actual like World War II Kamen Rider series. That would be awesome.
This is Bluecaster Sheeta Zazil coming at you with my collection video. So first off, this is my figure shelf. I got the RC Trideron, Super Zeo Megazord, which doesn't have the helmet, my kit bashed Tobuspino, Plezuon, Turbo Rescue Megazord, and I got a bunch of figures. I got Laser Level 3 Duke, and then I have the gimmick line Duke that I've mashed up with banana arms, so I call it Kamen Rider Duke Accoutrement Lemon Arms. Spectre, New Deno Vegaform, Necrom Grim, Snipe level 5, Sogozo, Brave level 55 because I have the Hunter Gamer sword on him. Build Rabbit Tank, which I just got. Soft Vinyl Heavy Sky Silver. Langle, What's Left of Baron, Wizard Water Style, Wizard Land Dragon Style, Curie Violet, Curie Cyan, Chaser, the Imaginext Blue Ranger, Soft Vinyl of Drive Type Technic, got Kurokage down there, the Blue Buster machine, the Astro Megazord is actually Cells. So that's my figure shelf. Up here I've got the roleplay shelf. I have Signal Magaru, the Newton Inspector icons, gadgets for Dragon Eye Hunter Z, a non-DX Tattle Quest that I was planning on turning into like a Bluecaster gadget, Tokimeki Crisis, the Perfect Puzzle gadget. I just bought that just because I like Perfect Puzzle, but not Knockout Fighter. Steam Blades back there. I got gadgets for the Cronus version of Kamen Rider Chronicle, Doremifa Beat, and Mighty Action X. I have the Legacy Dragon Dagger and the original. Gadgetcon Bug Visor with the Proto Mighty Action X gadget. The Machine Builder, Magiphone. This is my Digimon Cross Loader. I know it's not Rider, but whatever. Trans Steam Gun with the Bat and Train full bottles. Necrom's Megio Loader. The Gan Hand. Meteor Galaxy. A couple of Loxies, including Oren, Fresh Pine, and Durian, and Fies. The Tate Kyutama Tokyo Changer with the Deno Resha. And then up here I've got the Blade Rouser, the Gokai Spear, and both versions of the Kentro Spiker, Japanese and American. Up here I've got my Lost Driver with the Quetzalcoatl Sky memory. What's Left from Kit Bashing, that Megazord down there. My Drive Driver with Shift Speed prototype. And this is a painted version of my Ghost Driver. As you can see, I removed the bed sheet and had a fan painted blue, so now I call it the Vision Driver. And then, so that's it for this area. And then if we zoom all the way over here to my desk, you'll be able to see what I refer to as my featured section. So, right over here, we have my recently acquired VS Changer with red, blue, and Nego. Over here, I've got the box for Kamen Rider Chronicle from the show, because I bought the Ride Player gadget. Up here, I've got a few full bottles. Cobra, USB, Mahotsukai, Shibosha, and Smuffo. And then, up on top here, I have Cerberios with pink, silver, sky blue, and gold Voyagers. Rabbit Tank Sparkling Full Bottle, Heavy Sky Silver Qtama, Ao Ninja Ninshuriken, Shift Technic, the Sengoku driver with Silver Apple and Cherry Energy Lock seeds. This, shout out to my friend FazeCore in the Castranger Discord. He is customizing some figures for me, and this is what I'm referring to as Ride Player Zeal, if you haven't already heard about my weird custom riders. I have the Bat Clock, I have Dr. Mighty XX, Gashid Gyarados Beta, the Grim icon, I have the Buggle Driver's Ally with Gary Chomber in it because Laser Level X is my new favorite form. Boxel Bike and Xevious Gashets, and the Ride Player version of Kamen Rider Chronicle, and my Gamer Driver with Tattle Quest and Tattle Legacy. So that's pretty much it for my toy. Oh, up here I have the Pandora wall panel with a few different full bottles on it. I wanted to wait until I had all the bottles that I wanted and the blue panel, but here's what I have so far. Kaizoku Copter, Wolf Mike, Unicorn Camera, Kabuto Mushi Lock, and Rose Game. I picked that combo in honor of Lovelica. He was taken from us too soon. So, sorry if I sound out of breath, it's late. So that's my collection.
Hello everyone, Pincaster Lane here. So I'm just going to show off a bit of my collection. Not all of it, but like the stuff that's actually displayed nicely. So first here, this is my like figure art collection slash Ultraman collection. So here got all my various figure arts that I've collected. I used to have a lot more, but I sold a lot, so now these are just primarily the ones that I like to keep personally for myself. And then I got my Geed capsules and my Geed stuff here. So I love Geed. Go watch go listen to Ultra Ranger. So this is my Drive shelf. So this is where I keep all my various Drive figures I've collected, because I love Drive. All you need is Drive. I have Excel there because Excel's a fucking boss, and I love that he teamed up with Drive. So that was amazing. Down here, this is my Genmu shrine. So that's where I collect have all my various stuff related to Genmu, and X-Aids there too, because why the fuck not? Then here's my like Sentai shelf, but eventually going to be Pat Ranger shelf. So I got my Q Ranger stuff, and then Patra Ichigo, and the Seiza Blaster, and then there's my shift formula there. And if you go over here, you can see this is kind of like my Star Wars collection. So this is where like I have my shrine to Kylo Ren, because I love Kylo Ren. I got some junk there, pay no mind of that. And there's Snoke, there's other Kylo Ren, there's various Star Wars figures. And then we quickly look in this drawer here. So this is where all my Drive merchandise is. And it's really nice because I've collected almost every single Drive related item because I love Drive. All you need is Drive, you know, that cool shit. And then this is where I keep all my shift cars and signal bikes now, because they used to be where my Pat Ranger shelf was, but decided to move it. And then if we quickly look down here, this is just where I keep like random toku stuff, just belt straps and various Sentai and Rider stuff. And then the final thing I'll just quickly show that I'm very proud of is, oh yeah, this is my desk, pardon the mess for it. There's my Bison King, Star Ninja. So this, there's me. So it's my Pincaster Pop and my Pincaster icon. And then behind here is my Blue Ranger, Lionsgate Blue Ranger display, because I love Billy so much from the 2017 movie. He's like one of my heroes, and I wanted to collect everything related to him. All I'm missing is just the Power Coin, and then that's it. And I have my pop vinyls of the 2017 Rangers, with my 2 copies of the Blu-ray of the movie, because I wanted to support this movie as much as possible. And then I have my Phasma display, because Phasma is amazing, and I love her, and yeah. So that's it. Oh yeah, here's my RAF collection. because I like Raphael, and there's my Fallout collection. But yeah, that's basically it. So this is Lane signing out. Bye-bye.
So to start off with the collection, here are some Sochaku Henshin Deno figures. Got gun form, rod form, axe form, Momotaros, some Ninja Turtles, because why not? And then down here I have a few DVDs, like Zoo Ranger, O Ranger, Mighty Morphin, a few of the Godzilla movies. All the way down here, you can see Ultraman, Ultra 7, all the VR Troopers. It's kind of fun. Oh yeah, and some of the top fourth wall, because why not? And over onto the next shelf, right over. Whoa! Shochaku Henshin Deno sword form with a ton of figure arts. More or less all Kamen Rider, except for the two Jetman figure arts I have there, and the tiny little Kyoryu Gray. And of course, Wizard and Decade together, because those were my first two Kamen Rider shows. Got some Ranger keys, all of Go Ranger, Time Fire, Shurikenger, Abra Black, first 7 Deca Rangers, Magi Shine, Go on Red, and the complete 6th Ranger team of Shikenger. Got my Ultraman manga right there. Then I actually have a few of our Radio Sentai Castranger. What are these cards? Business card? Yeah, business cards. Tiny little Kamen Rider Ichigo sprite. My friend made that for me. She runs a pixel art group. Well, she doesn't run one. She just runs her own little business. And she made me a Kamen Rider one, which I'm happy about that. And over here, whoop, got rider displays. So you got the Garen belt used, but meh. A few shift cars. Oh yeah, Sonic Screwdriver. A few of the parkas from Kamen Rider Ghosts. 4 full bottles. My first Kamen Rider belt ever, the White Wizard Driver. The G icon with a few Ghost stuff. And then, as much as I don't like Kamen Rider XA as a show, I do have the first 10 gadgets with the Gamer Driver. And up here is where I keep most of my boxes and lock seeds. Okay, I got a funny little story about the Cherry Energy one there. So, what happened was, I bought that at Aminorf when Gaim was still airing. And it was like, Gar, who's your favorite rider? Oh, it's Sigurd. Next episode, he dies. And a few little knickknacks here and there. Benkei Yokai Medal. With Whisper or something? I don't know. Then over here is my Ultraman shelf. And see, I have a huge collection of Ultra capsules. You got the Ultra Axe of Ultraman, Ultra 7 Jack, Ace, and Taro. Just turning on the light here so people can see. G-Driver, Premium Bandai Dark Orb Ring, Zero Eye. Now, I'm gonna move this out of the way. That is a piggy bank of Ultraman. I haven't found another one like it, so it is considered to be the rarest thing in my collection right now. And you got Orb with his Orb Ring, Jugular with his Royal Mega Master. Got the Orb Caliber back in there. Got a few, got most of them. I'm still missing 2 more. Ultra Caps off. Then down here, if I can get my light down there. Power Ranger stuff, or more or less stuff that couldn't fit on the shelf. So we got blind bags, Dino Drive, the Build-A-Figures for the Legacy line. It'll be complete one day. Legacy Dragon Dagger, Mighty Morphin Head. You got those Dino Charge things. And then you have the original Megazord with Q Reno. Because little Red Ranger. And of course, down posters from work. and some boxes. And now the piece de resistance, the Power Ranger shelf. This is pretty like impressive. Yeah, so you got Shuriken Jin, the 6 Ninja Steel figures. I almost said Ninja Storm. Zed, all 10 Dino Charge Rangers, including Dino Supercharge, Legacy Yellow and Red, Mighty Morphin Team, Ninja Storm. And then behind there, if I can get up close, you can see the movie figures and some knickknacks here and there. Got the complete movie wave except for Rita. So one day, Ivan Ooze is back in there. Same with Wrench, Fury, Snide, Ice Age, Doomwing, Sledge, Singe, Curio, and a Vivix? Yeah, with Beat Hercules. So yeah, that is my collection. Ever expanding, ever growing, and always appreciated.
This is my hilariously small toku collection, which consists pretty much entirely of stuff I have either bought at conventions or have been sold or given to me by other casters. The one exception is this wizard ring, the dress-up ring, which I literally bought because I told myself I want to watch Kamen Rider and I want to get a ring that makes sense to have without the belt. And I looked up what all the rings did and I thought, oh, it is like the disguise pen from Sailor Moon. That's kind of cool. So I got this, and it was the first toku toy I ever owned, which is why it's in my my intro, in my roll call. That's why it has the dress-up sound in the background. I have the Dr. Full Bottle. I have the Edison icon. I have this, which was given to me on the first episode I ever recorded of Castranger, which I think was 99. It's out of batteries, but it actually has voice clips on it. It's a special version. There is my Tenbin Kyutama and my Doremi Fa Beat Gashet, which is actually out of batteries too. That is all I have, with the exception of one other thing, which is... Sorry. I keep it in this bag here. The first belt I ever got, which is the Icon Driver G. I know a lot of people don't like Ghost, but this one is cool because, first of all, Tacker sort of just stopped using it, so it actually kind of makes sense to have. And also because it's completely self-contained. It has like all these powers and sounds and everything built in. You don't need anything else, and it was not super expensive. So it's the first belt I've ever had, and I still freak out a little when I look at it like, I can't believe I have this. And it's super cool. And Lane put the zip tags on it so it fits on my potato body. Thank you. This isn't toku, but I do have, I have my lovely communes, my Heartful commune, and my much larger Ridiculous collection, which is mostly mascot plushies. And I accumulated this over several years, and most of it was gifts. But I still feel guilty having them. I guess technically Morphin also counts as a transformation device. I'm trying to think if I have anything. Oh, there's the Lego stones at the top there. I haven't opened them. I'm trying to think if I have anything else that is toku. Oh! There's one last thing. My VR Trooper transform thing, which I got at a pawn shop for $2. But I really like it. Not those pixel pins. Thank you for watching.
And all this shit! No. So, I thought that this was my only Toku toy. This is an Astro Megazord. It's like one of the shitty ones from like the 90s. This is like 21 years old. This came out during In Space. It has zero articulation except in the arms that can do this. And also the punch. Like, you know, double fist. It's a good day to be alive, apparently. But yeah, like I used to have a lot of Megazords. I had the original one. I had the black and gold one. I had the Zeo, the Rescue Zords, and I think that's about it. Oh no, I had the Shogun Zords. Those were cool. But yeah, I thought for a while this was it, but then I was finding, I have more. I have a lot more. I got my buddies. They gave me stuff. For instance, I got this from Emily. This cute little thing. This is the Northcaster. Much more handsome than me. What else do I got? Dave. Dave gave me this. This is a Gaim Lock Seed. I'm not really into Gaim. Not really, you know. But it's cool. Batteries are out, so I can't use that, unfortunately. I have another Lock Seed. I think Lane gave me this one. And just because I've always said I just love how Black RX looks. So, yeah, just Black RX. Master Rider. That's cool on the inside, isn't it? I have a single icon. I used to have two other ones. I had Pharaoh and Robin Hood. I sold those. And I kept this one, though, because, again, this one was a gift. I don't like to sell gifts. Does anyone even like ghosts? No? Okay. But my personal favorite of those is... Well, I'll tell a bit of a story here, actually. So I got this, the Ichibanto. I got this when I was in China. Like, legit fucking thing. Ugh, hate life. Ugh. This is what you ask for, people. See self-struggle. There we go. So I actually got this when I was in China. This was when Ninja was still airing. So I thought it'd be cool just to buy something there. Show the guys. It's just a regular Ichibanto. As you can see, comes with just the basic stuff. All that. Does this thing still have the battery going? No? Okay. But the best part, Lane got me this. That's a fucking Kaku Ranger. And I wish the battery was still working because I want to be able to play the theme song here. Ichi, insert now. This thing's cool. Makes a nice little jingle. So yeah, that's my actual Japanese toys. I'll put those away. Now for the other stuff. Because I realized I had more than I was letting on. I was like, where the hell did it go? I was going to make a joke, but whatever. Because I do have, turns out, I'm a very avid pop collector. I don't know if I've said that in... Have I ever said that in Castranger, that I'm a big fan of pops? Anyway, so I have a bunch of the Power Ranger pops. These, you might not know this, there originally were 3 other red, pink, and white Ranger pops. These are the re-releases, and I kick myself in the ass because a few years ago at Anime North, a convention we have here in Toronto, they were selling the red, white, and pink Rangers, the original ones, like just normal pop price, and now they're worth like hundreds of dollars. So, I'm stupid, what do you want? But also what we have, to go along with that line, we have the rest of the team. There's blue, there's black, there's yellow, and of course we have green. Isn't it beautiful? Look at all these pops. Look at the... I love pops. I'm obsessed with them. Thanks, Anna. Oh, and we got people here. Lovely lovelies. And oh look, it's the greatest pop of all. It's a Saga. It's me. Look, see? It's just me. Don't look inside. It's just Saga. No, what are you doing, hands? Oh, I'm not a cat. I'm a wolf. No! I also have this. It's the one that I got from the movie. Rita Repulsa. Because who doesn't love Rita? She's my favorite thing about that movie. Like, hands down. And so, yeah, I didn't collect any of the other pops from that, but whatever. And what else do we have? Oh, right. So these are actually pretty cool. We have the Megazord and Dragonzord. This one I found at a con. A little pricey, but it was like, fuck, I need the fucking Megazord. How do you not have a Megazord pop? This one, I literally got the second last one that was available because there was literally a line out the door to get this. Because all these bastards were like buying 5 at a time. They changed the rules finally. Thank you, God. Alright. And this is an interesting little thing. I forgot I had this until this morning. I got this in a loot crate. The theme of the loot crate was Unite. I've never opened this. This is a little Blue Ranger thing. Isn't it cute? Oh, and last but not least, I left it downstairs because I'm an idiot. We'll be right back. Last but not least, we have a very terrible television program on DVD. I mean, I grew up with it, and I still love it. Doesn't mean it's good, people. But what you'll notice, look right there. Who signed this? That was signed by Jason David Frank, the Green and White Ranger. He's a really cool guy. If you ever get a chance to meet him, like at a con, I say go for it. He's really sweet. I'll tell you a true story. When I went up to him and he's like, oh, hey, man, we talked a little, like, oh, hey, love, big fan, all that. He said, what's your name? I said, Cell. He's like, what? No, Cell. Really? I show him my license. It is Cell. I have a picture of this somewhere. I probably lost it, though. Where he literally just did this. He goes, pretend this is me. He goes, hey, guys, I'm talking on my cell phone. And we all laughed, and he's a sweet guy. So, yeah, that's probably one of the crown jewels of my collection, because just... they say don't meet your heroes, but they can eat my ass, because he's great. Don't meet Louis C.K., though, apparently. That's bad. But yeah, that's my collection. I have a lot of pops, I have a couple of figures, and, yeah, just in general. Just love toku. I'm more of a Power Rangers guy, obviously, but it's still things that we all like. And, you know, I like the new, but there is a place for the old as well. Keep the power alive, people.
Oh yeah, we're supposed to show toku toys. I'm not going through my apartment for all of them. I got some of my favorites. I've got my Ore, because this is I got kind of known for being Ghost, so I kind of went crazy and all right, we're gonna show some stuff. I've got a bin here of my blank icon, which is awesome. No, here's one of my favorites, X-Aid. The X-Aid icon. It does next to nothing, because X-Aid didn't exist when they built the belt, but it was still pretty good. And that was pretty cool. I'm also quite fond of this guy right here. I do love the Kyurgers, but let's see. I did that really stylish. Let's see what color I have in here. What Ranger color, or shut right up. Look, it's red. And Chris will probably say, I love Ari Tubagag.
I have some pics of about 85% of my collection. My collection has expanded since these photos were taken, but as a result of me moving in the near future, my collection is packed away. Please let us know in the comments section if you would like an updated video or pictures of my collection. I would be more than happy to provide that sort of thing once I've settled into my new place.
I don't have much of a collection. I really don't collect toys. I've got a couple of them. Maybe I'll show them in its own individual video, but I don't have them with me, so I can't really show that. So cool.
it's just, it's different from everything else. It's something that, like, a lot of people, when you show someone for the first time, it's just like, it's like against all their expectations, and they're just like, what is this? Like, what are they doing? Like, I show my coworkers like clips of like Rider and Sentai, and they have no idea what the fuck this is or what like it's supposed to be, and it's even hard to explain to them. That's kind of why I really love Toku, because it's something that's, you know, not a lot of people know about, and you can, like, you know, love yourself. And I just love the characters and how, like, serious they take everything, and, like, you know, sometimes they can be really fun, they can be serious, silly as all hell, and make us laugh, cry, get angry, and, like, happy, and, like, that's why we made this show, because, you know, we're huge fans of Toku, and we just want to express how much we love it, and it's just, it's great. I like everything about it, so... yeah, so this has been me, Pincaster Lane. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Goodbye.
That is the biggest...
Another thing about Toku that I really love, too, is that it kind of is also an addiction for me, because, like, I love the toys that come from these shows, and I became a hardcore collector because of it. I'm better now, but, like, when Gaim started, I, like, was like, I'm gonna collect every single lock seed, and then I did, and then I was like, I'm gonna collect every shift car and every drive merchandise, which I did, and I still have my drive collection today, and I'm very proud of it. But yeah, I've kind of became a collector because of it, and it's kind of a thing that keeps me really happy and, like, motivated to keep enjoying life, as I usually do anyways. So, thank you, Toku.
Personally, I think I just prefer Japanese heroes over American heroes, like from Marvel or DC, more or less because the status quo sucks. Think of it. American superheroes have been going on since roughly the 1930s, and there's some of them are still going to this day. But with Japan, they know when it's done. When a hero's journey is done, it's done. So I think I kind of like it more when I know I have a satisfying ending than it'll just keep on going forever and ever. But then again, maybe that's why I like these franchises, because each year they keep making new concepts and proving that their franchises will never die.
I like how it touches on a lot of stuff that kids shows here don't usually. Like, it can be really lighthearted and silly and have silly concepts, but at the same time it can have a lot of really heartwarming or even, like, heart-wrenching stuff in there that they would never market to kids here, at least now in the present day. And they're just fun to watch. It's fun to get to know these characters. It's always hard when the series ends. It's the same with Pretty Cure. It's always hard when you have to say goodbye and go on to the next one. And sometimes you find characters that really teach you a lot. I learned a lot from Misao, and just characters that you want to see what happens. And I love transformation sequences. I know that that's the most pedestrian thing, but anything involving transformation sequences I love. And I also love the toys. Bracelet morphers forever. Bracelet morphers are the best. I kind of stumbled through this, like, weird person, but and I know that I'm kind of the new person and probably way less knowledgeable than everyone else. They say that gives a unique perspective. I'm not sure if it's exasperating for the listeners. I really hope it isn't. But in any case, I just want to say thank you both to all of my fellow Castrangers and to everyone who's ever listened or laughed at me saying something dumb or laughed at Hot or Glue Gun Circus or any of that crazy stuff or just enjoyed listening to the podcast. thank you so much, and I hope that I can become less shy and stronger and more like a hero. Thanks for listening.
I think the thing I like about toku the most is just the sheer audacity of it. And I mean that in a good way. Especially with Kamen Rider. This is something I kind of don't like, but I just appreciate a lot. The fact that they're taking this show where there's guys in rubber outfits so seriously. It's so serious, you guys. And that's kind of fun, just to go, okay, yeah, I guess. Again, that's kind of why I prefer Sentai to Rider, just because it kind of knows what it is a little more. But I think the idea that, just these people in suits and they're just having, I'm sure this show's a blast to make behind the scenes. They're just having fun, and just imagination is the key word here. Again, that refuge and audacity. Because imagination just runs wild with Toku. In general. You can really do anything you want and put it on screen, and then you can make toys of it. That's kind of amazing. Toku, I understand, holds a special place in many of people's hearts, and you know what? It holds a special place in mine too, from when I was a young lad. A young lad who just, this is cool. It's okay to just be cool every now and then. That's all.
I mean, it's an interesting format in and of itself. I mean, originally born just as a cheap, low-budget way to do a show, but kind of stretches the bounds of what you can do with a shoestring budget, and that's always been kind of interesting. The suits can be pretty frigging amazing to look at, though. There are also ones that are not so amazing. I mean, you're going to fall flat occasionally when you're making this many shows, and just not stopping. They can't all be winners. For more on what I think are dumb freaking designs, you can check my old-ass video.
Which is over 10 years old.
God, was it that long ago?
Well, more like 8.
I mean, Decade was out at that point.
So that was 2009.
Yeah.
So, 9 years.
Yay. It's Decade was out at that point. I mean, I know that because my number one was just me laughing my ass off at Decade Complete.
And then screaming at the end complete.
Because, oh god, why did that need to exist? My number 2 least favorite suddenly merged with my number 1 least favorite. How? Why? This didn't need to happen. Anyways, yeah, that's about what I can come up with that. Thank you guys for listening. Thanks for watching and following us through all of this. And oh my god, how long has it been? In 4 years at this point? God. We've been doing this way longer than I thought. Yeah, thank you guys for following us this long into this whole thing. Life has changed very much over the last number of years. As you can tell, I haven't been around very much because of a couple of those things, but yeah, it's been quite a ride.
The simplicity of the story, of the not only just the story, but the special effects. The idea of unitards and motorcycle helmets, the idea of rubber monster suits. Very recently, within the past 10 years, they started incorporating CGI, but they've only just started incorporating CGI, which is really interesting to me. I grew up loving Godzilla. I grew up loving Gamera and Ultraman and things like that. I'd watch the dub of Ultraman and things like that. There were a couple of episodes on Fox, and my dad showed me a couple of reruns, and I loved it. I loved this. I loved the whole setup. I loved the aesthetics of it. I loved the rubber suits. I loved the helmet wearing heroes and scarf wearing heroes and things like that. I adore the aesthetic. I think it's amazing, and you want to parody stuff like that, but at the same time, it's just something that really fills me with love for the filmmaking genre, for the filmmaking process. Like, you can build a suspension of disbelief with rubber suits and motorcycle outfits. Like, it's kind of a thing of beauty. It's creativity encapsulated. I love it. I love the whole aesthetic. I love the whole mentality behind it. I love the whole idea of a filmmaking genre built around just the bare necessities of filmmaking. I adore it. It's great.
I actually don't know. It's just a series of, like, good writing sometimes, and then there's just, like, in Bill's case, I just like the motif. I can't really explain why I like it other than I like it. Like, there's just some shows I don't like, and those people know which ones those are, and that's it. But, yeah, there's just nothing really I can really say about toku that I like. I don't like Sentai, that's for sure. I haven't watched Sentai since Gokaiger, and I don't regret it one bit. But yeah, toku is just toku. It's just something I could watch, really. And actually, honestly, I think that's more of a thing than most people realize, with me anyway. It's just something I can watch. And if you've known me for a long time, there isn't a lot that I could watch out there. Like, a lot of things just cringe me out and don't let me like the show. And that's one of them. I just don't like it. That's it. Nothing much else I can say about it. And I like toku. I like Kamen Rider, at least a little bit of Kamen Rider here and there. There are some things in Build that really bothered me. There's some things in XA that really bothered me. There's some things in even Double. Like, my favorite show of all time, Double. There's a lot of things in Double I don't like. But it's just, it's something about it keeps pulling me in, and I enjoy the pull. So, yeah. And that's Mercury Caster Overkill signing out. You can catch me on the Castranger Discord and on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/thatoverkillguy. I post that in the Discord as well, so if you want to go ahead and check that out, you can. Other than that, see you guys later. See you on the Discord. Bye.
For this one, I'm going to keep it very short, sweet, to the point. Categorically speaking, I'm going to reference the big three and just kind of keep it neat and tidy there. Things that I like about toku: Sentai. You know what? The motifs are nice and the characters are nice. At the end of the day, what I can't get from Sentai, I get from Rider. So I don't really need to be here. So what am I here for? Giant robots. And, it's sort of the reason why I've kind of fallen out of Sentai in the more recent years, because I like the older robots in that I felt like when they were combining the Zords, it felt like it was more 5 unlike pieces that almost had nothing to do with each other coming together to make a super cool robot that almost didn't even look like it was made of stuff. Now, you seem to get a pattern of just things being crammed together to form a bigger version of that thing. Cough Tokuger, Cough Zooger, etc. Rider. It's plain and simple. Amazing suit designs. They just blow Sentai right out of the water because they tend to have a budget, because typically there are less characters in a Rider show than there are a Sentai show as far as the ones getting dressed up. Deeper storylines, I feel like Sentai tends to stay to more children-friendly, easy-to-digest storylines, whereas in Rider you get a lot of intricate plots and cool themes going on. But yeah, you just get a more rich story out of Rider. Ultraman, it's very simple because it takes the elements of everything that I like about Toku. I like the suit designs, they're really cool but also very simple. The stories are usually something to hold on to. If you can believe it, between the story and the actual Ultramen, I find the human characters to be the most interesting part of those shows. But what Ultraman ultimately is for me is a childhood nostalgia made better through the progression of technology and a bigger budget for these sorts of things. I just want to take the time to thank everyone for indulging me in my ramblings of the things you'd like to know about Radio Sentai Castranger and its respective members. This is Shadowcaster returning to the shadows.
It's just the right balance of stupid, colorful, fun. You get to see a lot of cool suits as a kid. Like, as much as I like things like Logan, where you see the characters deconstructed and out of the costume, I do like flashy costumes, and I do like kind of the fun gimmicks. I like that it changes every season, so pretty much around 50 episodes, you're like, okay, I think I've seen enough of this, and then they give you a new one. And I really do like when they show the new things. I remember I was at Con Bravo a few years back, and somebody came up to me and they said, hey, have you seen the first picture of Gaim is out? Have you seen it? And they pulled up this really low-res picture of Gaim on their phone, and I thought that it was pretty badass. And it was exciting. So every year I always look forward to seeing the new Kamen Rider. And also Sentai, because I'm getting more into Sentai right now. Right now I'm watching the original Zyuranger, which is fucking amazing. Power Rangers has not aged well, but Zyuranger has aged slightly better. Anyway, this has been Savage Caster. Thank you for listening to my spiels. I hope I answered all the questions. And Chris, if I didn't answer one of the questions, I'm not doing this again. No, just put something in on text that I answered something. Wait, no, he'll just say that I love Zycross.
What I love about Toku, it's kind of maybe threefold. I think what I love the most is, and this sort of stems from just the fact that it's different from anything else here, I just love the idea of the henshin. Like, it's such an appealing concept to me for someone to just take a belt or a bracelet, just slam it on, and just transform into a superhero. Western superheroes kind of don't do that, or at least not as blatantly, I guess would be the word. Let's put it this way. You could type in henshin compilation into YouTube and get any Toku series henshin compilations. You can't exactly type in Superman's transformation compilation and find a lot of results. What's he gonna rip his shirt open? That's his transformation. Not much. I also just like how it's not just an action show. A lot of these shows are equally as funny as they are awesome. Especially Rider, because they try and take themselves seriously half the time, which makes the juxtaposition to their comedy even better. Like, at one point you're seeing everyone dying from a viral epidemic, and the next moment there's a fat man in a white suit bending over going, "Ya boy." And just, it's the juxtaposition of the action and the comedy that makes Toku such an amazing thing to me. Plus, I just like getting really analytical over belt mechanics, as anyone who listens to our show for a long time will absolutely know. But, yeah, Toku is a special thing to all of us, and I hope it doesn't go away, because I will never not love it.
We're live!
Connect. Loading.
Equipment wielder!